Our home was a canvas of dreams, and each stroke of love and laughter painted a picture of our shared journey. The smell of fresh paint hung in the air, reminding us of the countless hours we had spent transforming the house into a dwelling. We lived downstairs amidst the chaos of renovations, finding solace in the simple joy of being together. One ordinary evening, my boyfriend held out his phone to me with a warm smile, asking me to write down his relative's address for a Christmas card. Little did I realize that this seemingly mundane task would unravel the fabric of our shared reality. As I looked through his phone, the name Joey caught my eye. Innocently tapping on the app, I expected to find a simple messaging platform. Instead, the screen flashed with the message, "I miss you." A shock rippled through me and I froze in place. I felt a lump in my throat as I glanced at the sender's name, not my name. "What is it, baby?" I asked, my voice shaking with embarrassment and disbelief. He turned around, a puzzled expression on his face. What? I held out my phone to him, jabbing my finger accusingly at the screen. "It's a miss you message." "Who is it for?" His eyes widened for a split second, a fleeting expression of panic. "Oh, it's no big deal. Probably a wrong number or spam. Don't worry about it." I wasn't convinced. Wrong number and wrote "I miss you." That's over the top. "Who is she?" He switched to a defensive tone. "It's just some random person on this app. I don't even know her. It's probably some kind of scam or something. Why didn't you mention this before? And what's Joy? What kind of app is it?" He sighed, avoiding eye contact. "It's just a messaging app. People use it for all sorts of things. I thought it was for trading, buying and selling things. Maybe a little iffy, but I was just checking." I stared at him, feeling unease settle in my soul. "Why didn't you tell me about this? Why hide it?" His eyes softened. "I didn't want you to worry. It's nothing, really." The suspicion never left me, but I reluctantly wrote down the address clouded with doubt. Little did I know that that moment was the first crack in the foundation of our shared history. The days turned into a haze of uncertainty. The house that had once been a haven of shared dreams began to seem different. It felt like an underlying tension. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, and the appendix named Joy loomed in my thoughts like an intruder. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and flooded our living room with warm light, I decided to fight the ingrained anxiety in my soul. I couldn't let it fester any longer. I asked him to show me his phone to review past messages and assure me that it was truly over. He hesitated for a moment, tapping his fingers nervously on the screen, and then reluctantly handed me the phone. "Nothing to worry about," he assured me, though there was a hint of guilt in his eyes. I scrolled through the apps, looking for Joey. Empty. No trace of messages or connections. "You deleted them?" I asked, frustration and disbelief mixed in my voice. "Yes, it's in the past now." "I don't want to bring it up," he replied, avoiding looking me in the eye. I nodded, though my stomach clenched. "I just need to see it with my own eyes to understand." His eyes met mine, a flicker of disappointment in them. "Trust me, it's for the best. Let's move forward." That night as we lay together, physical closeness eclipsed the shadows of doubt for a moment. The closeness became a balm for unspoken tensions, and for a while, we pretended things were back to normal. I didn't realize that the seeds of doubt had only temporarily receded, waiting for the right conditions to blossom again. Days passed into weeks, but the anxiety remained like a stubborn fog, unwilling to dissipate. Working days were followed by evenings filled with anxious silence, and I returned again and again to the mysterious appendix. The expensive gifts and mysterious conversations left an indelible mark on my thoughts, and I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more behind the story. One evening, after returning from work, I could no longer bear the weight of uncertainty. Tension was in the air as I once again asked him to show me the app so I could see the truth for myself. "You brought it up again?" He sighed, irritation and resignation audible in his voice. "I need to understand to figure it out," I replied, my voice firm. Reluctantly, he handed me his phone and I loaded Joey. The screen came to life, and I went through all the conversations. The truth unfolded like a slow-burning revelation, texting other women, breaking boundaries that felt like a betrayal of our 7 years together. His pleas for trust clashed with the harsh reality of his actions. "Who are these women?" I asked, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside. "Just people I've been talking to." "It doesn't mean anything," he replied, weakly trying to downplay the seriousness of his actions. The messages painted a picture of secret liaisons, looking for pictures and sharing intimate details. "Did you ever video chat with them?" I asked, my heart pounding with every word. "No, never. It was just harmless chit-chat." "I swear," he pleaded, but the doubts remained. "What do you think we should do to forget it?" he asked with despair in his eyes. "I don't know," I replied, feeling the gravity of the situation settle over us like a heavy shroud. "But taking your phone isn't gonna make it better." I couldn't sleep that night, trying to realize that the trust we had built over 7 years had cracked. The foundation of our love had faltered, and the path forward seemed uncertain, strewn with the rubble of broken promises and shattered illusions. I didn't know that the hardest part of the journey was yet to come. The early morning hours cast long shadows over our shared space, and the weight of the revelations pressed down on me like an irresistible force. The house, once a haven of love, echoed with the silence of broken trust. I struggled to make the decision before me, torn between the memories of 7 years and the fresh wounds of the past 2 weeks. As dawn broke through the curtains, I went over the messages in my mind again and again. The ghostly text "I miss you" taunted me, a ghost of doubt that never wanted to be exorcised. Unable to shake off the gnawing feeling, I was tempted to go through the messages again. With trepidation and determination, I looked at his phone. The call log revealed a previously unnoticed detail. He'd been receiving calls, many calls, with the longest lasting almost an hour. The truth unfolded like a cruel painting. Not only was he taking calls, he was making calls. "What does that mean?" I demanded, my voice shaking with anger and despair. He sat up. A guilty expression flashed across his face. "They wanted me to pay with those coins. I refused most of them." I stared at him, and the pieces of the puzzle finally fell into place. "You rejected them, but you also took a few. And you made phone calls. What did you do?" He faltered, searching for words. "It's not what you think. I was just trying to make sense of the situation, figure out what they wanted." The remaining shards of trust shattered further. "You were taking and making calls. What else were you hiding?" He stammered. "It's not like that. I didn't do anything wrong." The reality of the situation became apparent, and the house began to feel more like a prison than a home. The trust painstakingly built over 7 years collapsed under the weight of deception. Finding myself at the crossroads of shared history and true betrayal, I was faced with an agonizing choice. "I can't believe it," I whispered, my voice barely audible in the suffocating atmosphere. His pleas for forgiveness mingled with the echoes of a broken past. As dawn colored the sky with shades of uncertainty, I faced a harsh reality. The foundations of our love had been irreparably damaged. I didn't know that the hardest decisions were yet to be made, and the road ahead would be strewn with the debris of broken dreams.